Hi, everyone. I'm James Garbutt.
And I'm Denny Dumas.
And this is the Garbutt Dumas Real Estate Podcast.
What's up, fans? It is June 10th, 2020. It's been a bit of a roller coaster year. We are back for some GD podcasts, and today we've got some good feedback from listeners telling us that they like our thoughts on market updates. So here's a different spin on a market update. Today's topic: buy now, sell now, or wait.
That is the question.
What are your first thoughts? Or what comes to mind when a new client reaches out and says, "Should I buy today? Should I sell today? Should I wait?"
It depends, Denny.
Ooh,
it depends. It depends. Well,
Answer a question with a question.
Oh, geez. And that's kind of how it goes. Part of the reason for us doing this podcast is to kind of talk out these situations. Because when you hear the news, it's a very macro kind of level. The market's going up, market's going down. Yeah. It's very speculative. It's about telling a story. And what we see on the front lines is different experiences for different property types in the same city. Different price points. So it really does depend. But let's kind of go through this by acknowledging some of the questions that a realtor might have for, let's talk about the buy side right now. So what are some of the reasons why a buyer might buy now? And what are some of the questions that a realtor should be asking or thinking about when giving advice for the buy? So, a perfectly legitimate reason for someone to buy now and not wait would be they want to. They have a lifestyle change. Maybe it's work. Maybe they just need to relocate. Legitimate reasons, no question about it. Buy now if it's if it's important to you for a lifestyle reason. But some less clear reasons are, you're speculating. Prices are going to go up. I should buy now because prices are going to go up. And that is a bit of a it depends. Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong scenario. And the other thing is if you're buying and you're looking for something maybe a little more rare, a little unique, and the right property comes up that ticks all the boxes. So, if you're less concerned about market timing or prices and more concerned about the actual product you're buying, I don't think you should be as timing sensitive if what you're looking for is a little more rare, as opposed to if you're looking for just a box, 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom that's always available. That might be, that's less rare.
Yeah. A couple other things I want to point out. I think you kind of mentioned it, but moving up the real estate ladder, I think right now is a pretty good time to do that. Yes, maybe your 2-bedroom condo's gone down 5% in the last 2 years, but that townhouse, that single-family home has gone down a little bit more than that. We've kind of touched on that in other podcasts. One other thing I wanted to note, just from the last few weeks, I've been seeing that 1-bedroom listings right now in the suburbs are pretty slow. The good 2-bedroom units are very, very active, priced well, good locations. 2 bedrooms are very active. The 1-bedroom units are slow, much slower than, I'd say almost slower than they were in 2019. So that first-time buyer type person, interest rates are super low right now. If you've been thinking about getting into the market, maybe a pretty good time right now.
It might be. I mean, if you're buying and selling at the same time, it's a full equation,
totally.
Right? So if you're buying now, buying now or selling and buying now, it's kind of relative. And absolutely, buying up in this market, if you're buying up, meaning that you're selling a lower price point, buying a higher price point, on average, that's a good equation in this market. The higher the price point, the less active they are. But you do highlight one point. If you're buying if you're selling a 1-bedroom condo and you're buying a 2-bedroom condo, 1-bedrooms are a little softer than 2 bedrooms. I think one thing we need to acknowledge about the current market conditions is that both supply and demand are down. So it's a little more volatile than a typical market. So we're experiencing some properties selling in multiple offers at all-time peak high pricing. And we're also experiencing some good properties that are not hitting it out of the park. That might be off 10%. Yeah. And then on the far end of the equation, you have the fixer-uppers, the teardowns, the houses with the properties with a negative. And those ones, are still hit 20 and upwards of 30% in some markets around Greater Vancouver. So So we are in a market where some products are at an all-time high and some products were at an all-time high in early 2016.
Yeah.
So
I think as a realtor, I think it's really important to put that into perspective for clients, that if you're buying and selling at the same time, look at the entire transaction. Look at, yes, maybe your 2-bedroom condo is down $50K from what it was a year and a half ago, but that house that you're moving to is probably down $150 to $200K. So it's an interesting topic that a lot of clients or inexperienced real estate purchasers aren't really considering. They're looking specifically at their sale and saying, I want to get 500 because my neighbor got 500 a year and a half ago. Whereas if you're willing to mentally accept taking 450 for your condo today, you're saving 150 on the back end on the purchase side.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the sell side's next, but like just to kind of recap on the buy side, just some like quick questions that run through my mind when I'm kind of evaluating the buying conditions. How rare is what you're buying? How often do they come up? If you're looking, oftentimes I have clients looking for a home in a specific neighborhood. And when I look at the data, there might be 3 properties on average come up a year.
Yeah.
So if what you're looking for, there's 2 or 3 of them that come up a year, or maybe it's 2 to 4, I don't think you should be as timing sensitive. I think you need to be on top of everything that comes up. So you at least you're more in tune with how, when the timing's right, how they measure up.
Yeah.
And then on the separate side of that, what do you have to sell? And is it, is it an easy sell, or not an easy sell, but how sellable is it, right? Because that affects the equation as well.
For sure.
If you're buying, we're coming off years of buying first, then selling. And right now, more of the conversations we're having are towards selling first, or at least making sure they're aware that it's a little more risky to buy first. And we are occasionally getting in that subject to sale offer, a little more common now. But at the end of the day, if you are buying first and reliant on a sale, and you're selling a product that is, not in this volatile market, not in the sweet spot, you might be putting yourself at risk. And those are tough situations. Those are the ones where this is where when you buy first, you have to sell. You have to accept market value. And if you are stuck on your price, you can't be stuck on your price. Otherwise, you got to be prepared to carry 2 properties. But the other thing that I always mention, that I always run in my head as a realtor, is I don't know if prices are going to go up or down. And I stop pretending to know. So, I can guess all I want, and I will always have predictions. But at the end of the day, I am just as likely to be wrong as right, because there are so many external factors that can affect prices. And despite everything that's going on in the world, all it takes is low supply to hold prices or cause them to go upwards or go against the grain. And when you think that you don't know if prices are going up or down, it's hard to make that as a strong decision, a criteria factor, right? Like I hate to make, I think prices are going to go up, so you should buy now, as the reason to buy now. I look at how rare is it, other factors about the property.
I think that's a good point. I think there's more uncertainty going through 2020 than there has been in my entire career.
Yeah. This is a different year.
Yeah.
And there's just as many reasons that in the fall, like around the corner, prices could go up. Prices could go down. Yeah. Supply could loosen up. Supply could tighten up. Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah.
Let's move to the sell now. Okay. So, a lot of our clients are buying and selling at the same time, but, we're trying to do this in an organized way. So what are some of the reasons why someone might want to sell now?
Lifestyle change. Could be downsizing, could be moving out of the city, could be retirement, could be new job, could be lots of factors.
Those are all legitimate reasons.
Could be families growing. Could be I just got a dog.
Yeah.
Lots of reasons.
Yeah, they might want to put themselves in a buying position. Great reason. Mm-hmm. One reason that we run into occasionally, which is maybe good, you might be right, you might be wrong, is because prices might be going down. Mm-hmm. Right? Sell now. The world's in chaos. Prices might be going down in the fall. And if you're selling now purely out of fear, you might be right. You might be wrong. So just recognize that you don't know. At the end of the day, you don't know. And as a realtor, when I'm kind of evaluating the selling side, is some of the conversations I have with a potential seller is, what is your pricing expectations? Is this about selling for a legitimate reason or selling because you want a certain price? And if you want a certain price, is that realistic, right? So, why would you, prices might go down, prices might go up. If you're realistic on what market value is in today's environment, that's great. But if you're unrealistic about market value and you want, say, that Burnaby house that was $2.5 million a couple of years ago and now is $2 million, but you want that $2.5 million price tag, is now the right time to try for that $2.5 million price tag? And my thought there is no. Mm-hmm. But if you choose to waste everyone's time, go for it. Go for it. But I will say, and this is, in the last week, I've looked at multiple different market segments from the North Shore to New West and Tri-City condos. And I've seen detached on the North Shore have ratios where it looks like 1 out of 15 or 20 listings has been selling in the last 3 months in the higher price points. And I've looked at condo and townhomes that have 40% of the listings selling, like a sales ratio of 40%, like a real strong seller's market. So we are literally getting completely different experiences in different ends of the market. So if you're selling, a Mount Pleasant or a Port Moody condo that is one of the hotter products out there right now, and you're buying a West Vancouver luxury home that's off 30%, that's a great equation. But I don't know anyone that does that, that goes from Port Moody condo to West Vancouver home. But that would be an example of, the extremes of selling a hot product and buying a product that's down right now.
It's funny that you bring that up. I had kind of a friend reach out a couple days ago with a screenshot of some stats they saw online. And it's just like a blanketed stats scenario for Greater Vancouver. And he's like, what are your thoughts on this? I'm like, honestly, I don't even want to look at it because this encompasses everything. Markets are moving so differently right now. Yeah. I've never seen this before. How like a 2-bedroom condo in Port Moody is so different than a $1.6 million house in Burnaby. Like they're moving super different. And this stat, the way that these stats are produced is that everything is grouped together. So a $6 million house in Vancouver is grouped in with this 2-bedroom condo in Port Moody that gets multiple offers. So my comment to him was, I don't look at this stuff. If you are looking for something really specific or have something to sell really specific, I'll tell you exactly what's going on with that product. But like looking at this, I don't even remember what the stat was. It was like sales versus listings, but it grouped everything together. It's just unrealistic. It's in no way helpful to sellers or buyers to look at these stats.
General market data is useless.
It's useless.
I mean, it's not useless. There's probably you have to have something. You have to have some sort of simple data that encompasses what's going on in the market. But there's very few times that I can recall where the whole, like most products in Greater Vancouver, houses, condos, townhouses, different price points are moving similarly. Yeah. And I mean, maybe, and this may not be accurate, but I think, in 2008, 2009, when everything went up and everything went down after that crash, that was one time where everything moved alike. But in recent history, I mean, there's definitely been some moments last year where there was fear across the board, but I do feel that even in the summer of last year, Mount Pleasant was doing quite well, and no one was in West Vancouver homes, and so there. When I look at the last 10 years, probably every year there's a 20% discrepancy between what a condo in X city is doing versus a house in Y. And that's there's a lot of micro markets that. If you have a 20% discrepancy year over year in different markets moving different things, like look back at 2016. Burnaby peaked in early 2016. West Vancouver peaked early 2016. So did South Surrey. But where were New West or Burnaby or Tri-City condos at that time? They climbed for 2 more years really strong right after that. They peaked more 2017 or I can't remember if it was 2018. But they had a leg. And then the other product fell off, So it was really... You're getting pulled all over the place. I don't know where I'm going with that, Denny.
No, that's
I don't know. I'm looking at your eyes too as I'm talking to you. Carl loves that.
The last question, who should wait?
Oh, who should wait? I hate to be wrong, but like here's a generic scenario here. I mean, someone that's selling a high-end home and buying like a downsizer potentially. If you're not in a rush to downsize, if you're selling a real high-end product like $3 million suburb home, or maybe it's not a $3 million, maybe it's a 1.8 or 1.5 million land value home in a Burnaby market, and you're buying a desirable condo. That equation isn't the best right now. It definitely, has swung against you in the last couple of years. But I don't know if I would wait because of that reason. When I look at the future, I don't see a flood of supply coming. I don't see a flood of 3 millionaires coming to the Vancouver, and I don't see enough condos eating up the demand. But and the new ones that are coming are quite expensive. So, maybe that equation, maybe those luxury sales that we saw when the foreign buyer tax wasn't in place, maybe that won't come back for a while. Mm-hmm. Maybe the market is more driven by affordability, and that the lower price points remain extremely active, and the higher ones are slow for years to come. I don't know.
There's only so many 3 millionaires out there in Greater Vancouver.
But a very easy reason to wait is you're not motivated to buy. Like if you are purely selling and you're not, you have no intent on buying, and what you're selling, either you want yesterday's prices, or what you're selling is not a desirable product in this market, that's a legitimate reason to wait. On the buy side, if you wait, you might be right, you might be wrong. That's really it. I mean, the only thing that would come to mind is maybe if I was buying in a market like Whistler, with the mountain closed and the borders closed and the U.S. in turmoil, maybe that might be on the wait line. But I'm sure right now they probably are low on sales, and if a motivated seller popped up, why wait? Can you think of a good reason to wait?
No, I think I don't really have much to add to what you said. Yeah. I think if you're moving for a reason, if your lifestyle is changing, if you're retiring, the equation across the board has gone down. Like what you're selling is down, what you're buying is down. So unless you've been waiting a few years to capitalize on maximizing the value of your family home for the last 20 years, it's probably not the right time to do that. If you're wanting a price point that your neighbor sold for in 2017, it's not the time to do that. So I guess it is really, if you're doing this equation for lifestyle, there's no harm in giving it a try. If you can be patient and you just want to maximize the value of your home, probably that is the person to wait.
Yeah. And let's be clear here. You don't have to be fixed on saying, I'm buying now, I'm selling now. Mm-hmm. Like it's happening. I think if you're on the fence, having an open mind, and what an open mind means for a buyer means being in touch with the listings that are hitting the market, being in tune with the inventory, getting out there and seeing properties. Even if you're not 100% sure that you're buying now, it's important for you to know what's out there and see what's out there. And on the sell side, you're not signing your life away by signing up a listing. So you could have the mentality of trying to sell, testing the market. Particularly, we're in June, we have the summer ahead. If you are testing the market, summertime right now is the time to do it. And you can see what kind of offers come your way. Mm-hmm. And if good offers come and it's a tough decision, well, you got to make that decision. If no offers come and the decision becomes clear that you're waiting, there it is. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the conversations I'm having with sellers is get your place ready, get your place in, whether you sell or not, at least make it liquid, get it presentable, get it ready so that you could sell quickly in case something comes up that you really want to buy. Don't have that fixed mindset of, I'm going to wait, and if you do, that's okay. It's just, if that perfect buy comes up, you're going to miss it. Yeah. And you have to be okay with that. I don't think I can add anything more here, Denny.
Nope, I think that was great. On to the next, Carl.